Yes.
All right. Lovecraft's Cthulhu Mythos, a drunk guide.
Really drunk.
Anyone want to take a bucket?
No.
No!
It's a bag, but we have to deal.
Eddie, you're a prince among men.
Thank you, I know. Now Nash is gonna vomit.
Wait.
You're gonna shout bucket, and the person with the bucket will come to the rescue.
Okay.
I'm on the lookout.
Say bucket!
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 Cool.
Brilliantly executed.
That was
I probably
terrible.
should not be carrying a
What did
drink.
I do?
Perhaps not.
This is a show.
All right. So, H.P. Lovecraft is a racist asshole. Let's get that out of the way right now. Yes, I know about the cat. Now, he wrote in the 1920s to 30s, and he wrote a series of books that, when combined together, tell you the Cthulhu mythos. Now, again, racist motherfucker, but he had some really cool ideas about cosmic horror, and he let other authors take from his ideas and create like a grander sandbox for people to play in, which is why we can take his ideas and make them better. So this is your Cthulhu Mythos primer to kind of explain the general consistencies across the world. Slide.
Yes.
Now, a couple of things that you get across. The mythos is ever changing. We can always change it, update it, do different things with it. Second, the mythos is all about cosmic horror. It's all about that, smallness we feel when we look up at the stars in the sky and think about how small we really are. There is no one set mythology. What I'm about to present to you today is not canon. It's just what we all tend to think is correct. You are free to make up your own gods. That's just something you should know. And this is just, again, the common understanding. This is just what we generally believe to be the case. Slide. So in fiction, how do we know about this? So in the fiction, there's a book written by a guy named Alhazred. He goes mad in the desert and writes the Al-Azif, or as you know it, slide, the Necronomicon.
I didn't know that.
Yes, the Necronomicon is a Lovecraft thing.
I did not know that.
Get over it. So he writes this book, and we get several translations of it. We're not going to have a slide for a while. Go back. Stay there for a bit. We're going to be talking about this for a little few seconds. So you see, this is the primary source that we have for all of the mythos in the fiction. There are a couple of translations of it, 5 that we know of. There was a Greek one, which is somewhere in Constantinople. There's a Latin one, which is somewhere in the Vatican Library. And there's 3 English ones. One in the British Museum, another at Yale, which is permanently checked out. No, really, if you go to the card catalog in Yale and look up Necronomicon, it's permanently checked out. You cannot buy it. You cannot get it. Yeah, it's checked out. And finally, there's one at the fictitious Miskatonic University, which is a Ivy League that isn't real. Slide. Now, Alhazred sets out that there are like 5 categories of God. Or 5 species, really. There's the outer gods, which are the big guys in charge of everything. The elder gods, who might be the good guys. The great old ones, who are the children of the outer gods. There's the servitor races, who are the slaves of all of the above. And then there's the independent races, which are small, tiny, insignificant specks of dust in the grand scheme of things. Slide. Okay, the outer gods. Again, the big boys. First up, we have Azathoth. He created us. We are his dream. He is an idiot. No, really, we were made by an idiot. We are his mistake, and one day he's gonna wake up, and when he does, we all die.
That checks out.
So all of the children that he has are the great old ones and the outer gods, and they are going to be the primary force by which the Cthulhu mythos kind of operates. Slide. His son is Nyarlathotep. He is the one who will wake up Azathoth one day. He's somewhere between like Jesus and Loki. Like he's like the trickster god figure, because he can look like anyone. He was an Egyptian pharaoh. He may be the weakest of the gods, but he's going to wake him up one day, and he has a personality. Well, as much of a personality as like the Joker, I guess. And he can be anybody. He could be you. He could be me. He could be I don't know, he could be fucking Slide, please. He could be fucking Ted Cruz, coming 2021.
No!
That's right. Nyarlathotep is Ted Cruz. Slide. Okay, we have Shub. I'm not going to say that last name. Shub here is the fertility goddess of the mythos. She is interesting. She will breed with anything and create a new god as a result. She also has like a bunch of like goat creatures that live in the forest that are like her servants. She's kind of fucked up. She's basically trailer park trash mom. Slide. Yog-Sothoth. He is the smartest and the most powerful of the outer gods. He is the granter of magic. Before we called it the Cthulhu mythos, Lovecraft called the whole mythology Yog-Sothothery, which is a much better term. Oh, also, he's not going to interfere with us. He has a restraining order on our planet, on our universe, because of the fact that he's
You didn't notice
yeah, it's fine. He has a restraining order on our universe because he's basically way too powerful, so we have to like use his cultists to summon him, which are mostly magicians. Slide. On to the Elder Gods. These are the good guys, I guess, but here's the problem. So, Lovecraft had a friend, his name was August Derleth. They wrote a lot of the mythos together. But the problem is that like, he was very Christian, and so he came up with like these gods that were like the good guys. But nobody really liked that idea, so now they're just kind of equally evil. But, you know, like with their own intentions, and they kind of side with humanity because it's convenient. Slide, Taylor. Thank you. There are actual gods in this part of the pantheon, like Hypnos, the Greek god of sleep, and Bast, the Egyptian goddess of cats and protection.
Yeah,
But
Bast.
the one big god that Lovecraft came up with, Slide, Nodens. He is somewhere between like Poseidon, Odin, and Jehovah, like the actual Christian god. He is the ruler of the Dreamlands, which is his own can of worms in the mythos. Just know that like there's a place where we go to when we dream, and that's the Dreamlands. And he's the head force of the Elder Gods. He is the patriarch. Slide. Also, he hates Nyarlathotep. That's just a note. The Great Old Ones. These are the children of the Outer Gods. Slide. Finally, we get to Great Cthulhu. He's not that great. He only looks cool. There's really nothing else to him.
Why is he bad?
Well, he's the priest of the Outer Gods. He's somewhere asleep at the bottom of the ocean
He's shredded.
Me too.
in the city of
Oh, yeah,
R'lyeh.
he can't be that bad.
And he also has this most famous quote of the entire mythos. That is not dead which can eternal life, and forced which countless say on even death they die. For even death they die, my dear, for even death they die. Okay, we're done here.
Very good, very good.
Next slide. Hastur, the king in yellow. So he's from a planet. It's called Carcosa. He has a play called The King in Yellow. It drives people insane.
Well, that sounds fun.
So if you watch the play, you go nuts. He's trying to colonize Earth, and he has this yellow sign that appears every now and again, Slide, that secretly tries to mind control everybody into becoming an artist and like spreading the word of Hastur. I've never seen it before in my entire life. I'm sure it means nothing. Slide. Dagon, named after the Babylonian god of the same name. He is a god of the sea. He has a shit ton of gold, and he turns people into fishmen.
Excuse me, Professor?
Yes!
Professor!
Yes!
Why is Dagon and the other Poseidon person, do they coexist?
Well, you see, Nodens rules the Dreamlands while Dagon is on Earth.
Classic mistake.
See, classic.
Elementary, really only
Yeah,
a
you
confusion a
fucking
novice
dipshit.
would
How come
make.
you don't understand this?
Slide.
Rudimentary.
Okay, we get to the servitor races. So, Slide, these are the slaves of the outer gods. You have deep ones, who are like the fish people that serve Dagon. You
Yes.
can turn into one if you fuck one.
Noted.
There's the flying polyp, which is the massive eyes that serve Nyarlathotep. There's the star spawn, which are just Cthulhu lookalikes that serve Cthulhu. And then there's the dark youngs that serve Shub, which if you've ever had a branch reach out at you and try to claw you, that was Shub, I'm sorry.
I like Shub.
Who doesn't like Shub?
He's
Shub
nice.
2020.
Shop
Shop
2024.
And the recount.
Next slide.
Shove.
The independent races.
Okay,
These are the races that have no alignment by default to any particular god, but they could choose to have one.
Yeah.
Slide.
Gary Johnson.
Case in point, humans. We are one of the independent races. At least I hope you're human, because there are things that might make you not human. We have the Migo. These are insect-like aliens from Pluto who abduct you and perform experiments and do all the classic crop circle shenanigans. There are the Yithians. These are time-traveling aliens whose planet was destroyed, and they need to travel through time and space to figure out how the hell they're going to stop their own destruction. Interestingly, they can project their mind into yours and take you over. That's right. That mind control. Ghouls. These are humanoid creatures that eat corpses.
Like the ghouls are just in here.
Yeah, ghouls eat corpses, and the worst part is that if you are exposed to one for a long enough time, you turn into a ghoul.
How long?
Finally, we have the Elder Things.
How long, Nash?
We're almost done.
No, how long until you turn into a
Oh,
ghoul?
yeah, about several years. Several years worth of exposure.
Got it. Counting down the days.
Yeah, the Elder Things. Elder Things are the aliens that they once fought Cthulhu, actually, and they almost won, which is why he's asleep under the ocean for those strange countless aeons. But they're currently frozen somewhere in Antarctica. You're going to have to go unfreeze them yourself and go on an expedition to find them at their lost city. Slide. So, some closing remarks. Again, none of this is set in stone. We could change all of this because we were free to take it. There are more gods and old ones, and they're always being added to the pantheon. I haven't gotten to talk about my favorite Cthulhu, who is literally a star that's gone supernova. There are reinterpretations. That whole idea about Azathoth being asleep and we are his dream, that's just one idea. There have been many ideas about what Azathoth is. And it's all in the public domain. You don't have to pay copyright. You can use this today. All right, Slide. The end. I am open to questions right now if you want to ask me anything. Yes?
How many drugs was H.P. Lovecraft taking?
None. He was actually agoraphobic and very shut in his house.
He was just fueled by his
Yes.
Can we vote gods into the pantheon? Like, if I wanted, like, the Spice Girls to be an older god, could I, like, vote them in?
No,
Given the way Nyarlathotep worked, maybe. Yes.
So I'd
They
like to
look
ask about various
They look
genitalia
human,
sizes
right.
of the Call of Cthulhu universe.
Yeah.
Okay, the
Yeah,
short
yeah.
version
Yeah,
is,
exactly. How does sex work in the Call
How
of
does
Cthulhu
sex work?
universe?
well, you see,
Can the gods fuck?
well, as I mentioned, you missed this earlier. Shub is, like, again, a fertility goddess.
Oh, so Shub does a lot of fucking. Shub
Yeah,
gets-
but
Those
Shub's whole thing,
branches?
go back to her slide for a second.
Versatile.
Yeah, show me Shub.
Shub here, like,
Oh, the other show.
she is a collection of, like, black tendrils and a amorphous form. So if she envelops you, that's how she fucks.
Girl,
And then,
put that amorphous form on me.
yeah, and then she moves on and then produces a child. Shub's whole thing is just kind of randomly
it's all
breeding. Like,
one-dimensional.
let's be clear, the Mythos is horribly inbred. But it's gross. It's fucking gross.
Pantheon.
She's got a lot
But
of
that's how
arms,
most
buddy. She
pantheons
can
are.
do it.
Any more questions? I am fully open to answering anything you might have. Going once? Going twice? Sold. Thank you very much. I will now drink water.